Hello everybody, my name is Kieran from The Checkpoint, the only gaming channel that
I fought that bitch.
And today we're going to be covering the final episode of my RuneScape 2007 money making series, and in this episode it's going to be all about combat. Now this video will kind of touch on all aspects of combat and how to make money with them. There's a lot of creatures and monsters that you can kill for a good amount of cash related drops. Some of those drops will be luck related, however some will be really consistent drops, and it would be a really good viable way of not only gaining combat experience but gaining money as well. So, let's get right into it. Now, the first thing I'm going to show you about combat is Slayer. Now, Slayer is actually my favourite skill in RuneScape, for the pure reason that it kind of kills three birds with one stone. And by that, I mean, obviously you train your Slayer experience, you train combat experience, and you also gain a lot of money from the various monsters that you kill. Now, Slayer is something that you can start right from the beginning of your combat. You don't need a high combat level to do it, you can start at level 3. And that is probably what I'd recommend after you do the quest when you start RuneScape, etc, etc. Now, just a few tips to help you along with Slayer. Always use the best Slayer Master you can. The reason for this is that the better Slayer Master you use, the better monsters that he will assign. And the better monsters that they'll assign, the better drops that you'll get, and the better XP that we get. It's pretty simple. Obviously, they may be a little bit more difficult to kill, however, that will become easier once you level up. And bringing food is obviously... Don't be afraid to bring lots of food, think, oh, that monster will hit quite high on me. Don't be afraid about that. That will come at a price of having to bring more food, but that will also bring in better experience and more drops, which is very much worth it because you make out to be a great profit in the long run. So yeah, it's a very good combat experience and also bad tasks. Now, you can probably work out for yourselves as you train Slayer which tasks you don't like and which tasks you do like. Some people have their own kind of personal preference as to which tasks they don't like. I believe VARROCK assigned some things called kilowatts, which are just absolutely gross and slimy, and that's not their physical appearance, it's just horrible to kill. They're bad experience and you require a lot of food to kill them and you need to make like 10 trips. It's just bad drops, bad experience overall. So make sure you cancel any tasks you think are bad. That will cost you 30 Slayer points. However, I believe that is worth it, especially if you collect a lot of Slayer points in the long run. And also make sure you get your Black Mask. Black Mask help a lot. And once you have 400 Slayer points and 55 crafting, you are able to make yourself a Slayer helm. So Black Mask is very good because it gives you 50% more combat accuracy and damage on your Slayer opponent, or of your Slayer task at that time. For example, if you're given Fire Giants, then what would happen is you will get 15% extra damage and accuracy against Fire Giants that you kill, which will be much more effective than just a regular helmet. So Black Mask / Slayer helm is very much worth it. And Slayer overall will make you quite a lot of money depending on obviously the drops that you get. Some monsters will drop kind of Runar seeds and things like that come to armor quite consistently. Some other monsters will have really rare drops which are worth a lot. For example, dragon legs from bronze dragons, iron dragons, things like that. And also Draconic Visage, that's it, from iron and steel dragons, which are worth about 25 mil. It's a rare drop, but if you kill a lot of dragons, you probably get it. So yeah, Slayer is a very good way of making money. Okay, so now the first monster that I'm going to talk about today are Tazar creatures. Now, if you just watched the Slayer bit that I talked about, I mentioned that some monsters have luck-related drops, such as the Draconic Visage from dragons. Now, the money you make of killing these Tazar creatures is exactly that. These drop weapons and armor such as the Obby Shield, the Obby Cape, which are rare drops but worth a lot of money. So it is it's not risky because they will always drop Toggle, which you can always trade in for kind of gems from the local shops in the Tazar City. However, also the rare drops you may not get one for 2 or 3 hours. It's completely luck related. You can make anywhere from 100 to 500k. You know, sometimes you won't get any drops in 3 hours. Sometimes you get 3 drops in 1 hour. It just depends. So what would it work out to be? If you go there for like 10 or 15 hours, it'll probably average around at about 200k cash per hour. And it's also very good range XP. I would recommend using range for this. There are so many safe spots which I will show you in a second. Okay, so to get to the Tazar City, you're going to want to use your Amulet of Glory to teleport to Karamja, or you can also get the boat from Port Sarim. Once you arrive here at the Amulet of Glory teleport, you're going to head west, and better put my run on, that will be very helpful. And you're just going to follow the trees in the general western direction until you reach a volcano, which I'll be reaching in a second. Now make sure you don't bring any alcoholic goods with you. I know that is actually, I'm being serious. Once you enter the Tazar City, any alcoholic goods that you have on you will explode and cause you 10 damage per alcoholic drink that you have on you. So obviously if you have 10 combat, that will kill you. So don't have any alcoholic goods on you. No, that's an extra file, not a glass of cider, for anyone wondering. And once you enter that cave, you will be in the Tazar City. Now, as I mentioned, kill the 149s only. There are lots of vents and things you can use. These guys will range you, so that will render your safe spot kind of ineffective. So you just want to Where are the 149s? Right, here's one here. I'm going to use this self event here as a... Hopefully this will work. That'd be awkward if it didn't. So yeah. There's so many of these self events around it. See, there's one here. Just they're all dotted around it. It'll be really nice. A nice way to range them. Or you can melee them if your stats are high enough. If you are meleeing them, I'd recommend to have 80 combat. Not 80 combat level. By that I mean 80 strength, 80 attack, 80 defense. If not, I would recommend ranging because you want to kill these as fast as possible. So then you get drops as fast as possible. Next, I'm going to show you a method which not many people know about, but it is a very viable way of making good and easy money through combat. Now, what this involves is killing dark wizards to the south of VARROCK at the kind of the Stonehenge kind of circle rock thing. You can kill both the level 7 and 20s. Make sure you bring some kind of dragon hide armor to protect yourself from magic attacks, or you can pray mage, although I wouldn't recommend it because they don't hit too high anyway. What you're going to do is going to be picking up all the runes, and especially the talismans. They do drop water and fire talismans. Now I believe fire talismans are 20k each. Now you probably pick yourself up quite a lot of those within an hour, and on average it will get you around 200k XP per hour. So from the VARROCK Centre you're going to run down the south path, past all the inns and the weapon shop, and to the east here, just to the east of this wall, you'll see the Stonehenge circle of wizards. Now bring the best setup you can. I'm just using the same one as my range for convenience, but basically just bring the best setup that will ensure that you kill them as quick as possible. So just kill them, and you should get quite frequently some runes and some talismans, which will get you a nice amount of money. So yeah, I got some chaos runes there, which are worth about 100 GP each. So that's 500 GP already. So yeah, lots of runes you'll get from this, and talismans which you can sell for quite a lot of money. The next way to earn a lot of money through combat is to kill moss giants. Now, I have talked about moss giants in my range guide, and I truly think that one of the best ways to make money through combat. The reason being is the seed drops. In an hour, you will probably average around 4 to 5 Renar seeds, as well as obviously other seeds you get, toad flax, etc., which will all build up. I'd also recommend picking up all the limpwort seeds. I know kind of a lot of people I see will just leave them on the ground. They're worth about 1k each, and they're very common drops. And after I trained on moss giants from 45 to 75 range, I made myself about 3 or 2.5 to 3 mil from that. And about 200k of that money was actually from the limpwort seeds. I did get around 200 of them. So I definitely recommend picking up basically all the seeds that you can. Obviously not the rubbish ones like Marantil. All the seeds above like 1k, and all the herbs, they do drop herbs quite a lot as well as some bits of armor you can alch as well. So I'm going to show you how to get there in just a second. Okay, so from the bank in North Odone, you're going to walk to this log balance. If you don't have the agility required, there is a bridge further up the river which you can cross. Once you're across the river, you can do this at the other side. Obviously there's a bridge that I'm about to cross, so you can just run up that way if you prefer. That just saves me about 5 seconds. So you're going to just follow the course of the river until you reach the moss giants. Now, I am ranging these, it's my preferred way to kill them. Melee is probably quicker if you want to do that, but I have a pretty high range level, so I can kill them quite quickly as well. So here are the moss giants right here. Now, they will be aggressive towards you for the first kind of 10 or 15 minutes. They're not aggressive to me because I'm above 84 combat, that's quite awkward, which is a very good thing. Now, what I will do is the best place, once they're not aggroed, so if you're below 84 combat, what will happen? They'll be attacking you. So if you stand in that area there, which is kind of the area which I like the most to kill them, they will attack you. So the best way to stand is in this corner of these two trees. If he still attacks you, he'll probably get stuck in this area here. If this one still attacks you, you just sit next to this tree here. Now for the moss giant over here, you can say spot here. He will stand there on that little metal thing, whatever it is, and he won't be able to move. Or you can just sit here if he's on this side of the rock. But once they are not aggressive to you any longer, you can kind of use this fire as a safe spot. You can safe spot in between these two rocks. You can safe spot in between there. There's so many safe spots you can use. It's a really, really nice way of making money, and they do drop Renar seeds quite often, as I mentioned earlier, as well as other good seeds, which will earn you quite a lot of money. Look at the first drop I got. That just shows how good these things are. That's brilliant. Next way which I'm going to show you to make money is to kill blue dragons in TAVERLEY dungeon. Now you will need quite a high range or melee level to do this. I won't recommend mage because that kills them quite slowly, and you want to kill these as fast as possible to make as much money as possible per hour. Now why these things are so good is because every time you kill them they'll drop some dragon bones and some blue dragon hide, which are both worth about 2k each. So that's 4k a kill, and they'll average around 250k per hour. Now, to make that longer, I would recommend bringing energy potions with you at the start of the run to make sure you get to the dragons quicker. 70 agility will cut off about a minute of running, but obviously I wouldn't recommend getting 70 agility for the pure reason of going through the shortcut. That's just not worth it. And also, kind of a must is to bring a Falador teleport for quick banking and ensure you can get back to the dungeon pretty quickly. Also, I would recommend bringing anti-dragon potions if you are meleeing, but always bring anti-dragon shield even if you are ranging, because you'll never know when some might spawn on top of you and hit like a 30 on you if you don't have a shield. So always bring anti-dragon shield, and if you're meleeing, bring an anti-dragon potion, because then they will never hit you with their dragon fire. Okay, so from the western Falador bank, you're going to run behind the bank and over this broken wall. Now you will need 5 agility to clear this broken wall, which most of you should have, and I'd recommend getting the 5 agility because it won't take too long. Once over the wall, you're going to head in a northwest direction until you reach a kind of a trapdoor kind of ladder thing. Whatever it is, you'll see the dungeon entrance on your minimap. Now, as I said, bring a stamina potion or an energy potion to make sure you're always running, so you'll get there as quickly as possible. So I'm going to climb down to the ladder. Now, if you do have 70 agility, you can climb through the pipe to get to the dragon just there. But if you're a peasant like me, you probably won't have 70 agility, so you're going to have to run all the way around. And I have forgotten my dusty key. Facepalm. Okay, so that was a great reminder to bring your dusty key with you. Now, if you don't have a dusty key, I'll probably show that in another video. They're pretty simple to get, and you'll probably find a guide on YouTube how to get it. They're very simple to get. You just kill one of the I believe it's a prison guard, which will probably run past on the way to these dragons. So go through those 2 gates, which I just showed you, and run down this passageway. Now you'll see the dragons agonizingly close to you, but they're so far away. Again, if you do have 70 agility, the shortcut will save a lot of time, but as I said, it's not worth getting 70 agility just for the purpose of this. Now you will be running some pretty high level monsters, the highest of which will be the lesser demons. So just be aware of that. You might want to flick prayer melee just to make sure they don't hit you. Although if you're ranging, you will be safe spotting dragons, so that won't be too much of an issue. So we're going to be, don't attack these by the way, because they will poison you. And the Chaos Dwarf won't, he's fine. He's just a noob. So if you want to get your dusty key, you head down that passageway to kind of a prison area, and you head to the east, I believe, and you kill a prison guard and you'll get the dusty key. I'll probably show that in a later on tips and tricks video of little things you can do in RuneScape. Anyway. Once you've done kind of a U-shape in that area of the dungeon, you'll run past these lesser demons and use your dusty key on the gate. And now you'll come into the cavern of the dragons. There'll be baby dragons here, which will attack you if you're under 96 combat, which will be a pain. The best safe spots to use are in that kind of triangle there. Once the baby dragons are unaggressive, that will be a great place to be. You can also use this safe spot here. And you can also go over there, which I'll show you in just a second. Now, the setups that I'm using is, I am using broad bolts. These are the best bolts that you can use except rune. They are the same stats as adamant, however, these cost, they are like a lot cheaper than Addy. These are even cheaper than Mithril. They're about 65 GP each, and they do a lot of damage. So I definitely recommend getting the 55 Slayer for them, because they do a lot of damage and they're pretty cheap. So this is one safe spot you can use against the dragons. The other one, which I'll show you now, I'm just going to leave that dragon alone, so I feel sorry for it. The other safe spot which you can use is over here. If you just kind of hide in this cavern here, the dragon can simply not get to you. He's just thinking, no, I just can't fit in that space. So he'll just sit there trying to attack you, trying so hard to get to you, but he just can't. So yeah, if you're meleeing, just obviously make sure to bring your anti-dragon potion, and just there's not really any tips to melee. You just attack them and stand right next to them, and just be aware of the melee attacks that the dragons have. However, if you have a high defense, that shouldn't be a problem. Now, the setup, inventory setup that I recommend is bringing runes for your Falador teleport, your dusty key if you need one, and a bit of food. So you should be able to bring with you in between 24 and 26 drops. So that'll be 12 to 13 dragon bones and blue dragon hide. Okay, the final way which I'm going to show you how to make money is probably a very common one which you may have heard of already. Now, these are killing Chaos Druids in EDGEVILLE Dungeon. Now, just before I'm going to get into this, these are in level 7 of the Wilderness, so I'll be careful with PKs. They can kill you and take all your stuff, so just be wary of that. If you see a white dot on a minimap and see someone training along with you, then just be wary. Now, if you have a looting bag, which allows you to store extra drops from the Wilderness, and drops in the Wilderness, then definitely bring that. That will prolong your trips to make you more money per hour. And I'm going to talk about all kind of useless herbs in just a second, but first I'm going to show you how to get there. Okay, so as I said earlier, you're going to want to be wary of PKs, so you're going to want to not bring some items which you don't want to lose. And I'm actually just going to bring a Rune Defender with me. But obviously, I'm just going to wear Dragonhide because it's not very expensive, and I will protect these 3 items here, which are pretty important to me. So yeah, bring decent armor. These are only level 13, and they use magic attacks. So bring, I guess, Dragonhide armor will be the best thing to bring, as it's pretty cheap. So it doesn't matter if you lose it. And it will also protect you from their magic attacks. Now, I also want to say that PKs aren't very common in this area because there really isn't that much of a reward. I mean, usually people will protect their 3 most expensive items, so it's really not that rewarding for them. And you can also just quickly teleport out if you suspect that a PK is there. So just climb to the trapdoor that I just showed you, and you're going to want to head north. And then turn right through this gate here. And the Chaos Druids are just north of us in the cavern there. Now, once you head this gate to the north, you will be in the wilderness, so just be very careful from this moment and onwards. And it will give you kind of a warning sign here. So, you're going to want to head west after you go past these slimes, these thugs, and you want to kill the Chaos Druids. Now, the herbs that I'd recommend picking up are Renars, Harrowlanders, and any kind of unidentified herbs that you can't identify. Now, I would recommend having 25 herb lore because that will enable you to identify Renars, and Renars are around 8 to 10k. You'll also be able to identify Harrowlanders, which are about 1k, and any other herbs that you can't identify are going to be pretty good, so they're going to be quite expensive herbs. You can also identify some herbs using the woman, I believe there's a woman in Nada, which is in the southern desert, and she will identify any herbs for you. I believe that is the correct thing. She also decants any potions for you. So yeah, make sure you have 25 herb lore. I'd highly recommend that to identify your Renars, and any other herbs that you can get. It's quite awkward because in the 4 ones that I've killed, I've got no herbs. So that is that's very awkward. And when I said level 7 wilders, it's actually not, it's in level 2. So it's kind of rare that a PK, which is within 2 levels of you, will attack you. That won't really happen that often. So let's see if this one drops a herb, which it does. Sometimes they drop 2 or 3, which will be double the loot, and sometimes they're Guamlis, which aren't really that worth it. And use your looting bag if you can to store more herbs within them. Okay guys, so that's going to conclude my money making series on Old School RuneScape. If you missed the first 2 episodes and you've just seen this episode for the first time, go ahead and I'll leave a link in the description for those 2 episodes which you may have missed. In those episodes, in the first one I talked about money making for beginners, and in the second one I talked about money making for skills. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something useful. If I missed anything out, feel free to leave that in the comments to let myself know a few tips to make money, and also other people in the comments down below. If you have any criticism, constructive criticism, which you'd like to leave in the comments, that would be much appreciated. Like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you have not already, follow us on Twitter @RealCheckpoint, and I'll talk to you guys soon.